In this video, we will talk about a very important aspect of violin playing, the bow. So, what is the anatomy of the bow? And what parts are there of the bow? This is important to know because a lot of violin teachers will use these words like, oh, use the bow at the tip or use the upper half. But where is it? I will explain in this video. So first of all, let's have a look at this part of the bow. This is the bow stick. It can be made from wood or from carbon fiber. And so in this case I have a wooden bow, but carbon fiber bows are actually very, very good as well. And in some cases even better. Next to that, we also have one point on the stick, that is the balance point of the bow. And teachers will often use this balance point to say, oh, start playing at the balance point. The balance point is where you could put your finger and the bow would balance perfectly. And interestingly enough, it's not in the middle, as you see. It is a little bit on the side of the frog. And it will be a bit different for every bow, so try it out for yourself to find out where your balance point is. But please do not use your hands to touch the bow hair, because that could cause grease to go on the bow hairs and it will be more difficult to bow afterwards. We also have the middle of the bow. The middle of the bow will be around here, so it will be exactly in the middle of the stick, and it is defined by the bow hair. So if we have the bow hair over here, the middle would basically be over here, so exactly in the middle of the bow hair. And then we would call this the upper half and this the lower half. So if your teacher tells you to play on the upper half, you have to make sure to play above the middle of the bow. And there's a lot of techniques that are played on that part, for instance tremolo, and if you would like to learn that technique, definitely watch my video about how to play tremolo. We also have the middle of the bow, and the middle of the bow could be defined by taking 1/4 on this side, 1/4 on this side, and then we would have this middle part of the bow. And this is actually where most of our pieces are played. Especially as a beginning player, you will be asked to play in the middle of the bow, because here it is easiest to make the best sound. Here it very quickly sounds scratchy on the part of the frog, and on the part of the tip it quickly sounds a little bit soft and you have to use more pressure. So the middle of the bow is also the easiest part to bow at. Let's have a look at the bow tip. Here we have the bow tip. And the bow tip, this is basically, if you're playing an up bow, for instance, you are starting at the tip of the bow. If you're playing a down bow, you're starting at, what is this? This is the frog. This is definitely something that I had to remember in English. I was like, what? A frog? How is this called a frog? Like, I only knew the frog as the animal, you know? But I think it is a very cute word to call this black part. And I definitely imagine this tiny eye to be the eye of the frog. Actually, this eye has a name as well. It is called the eye of the violin frog. It is actually called eye. So cute. And next to that, there's a bit more parts to the frog. For instance, here you will see a little leather part. And there's, by the way, today there's also vegan bows that are not using leather anymore. But here you have a little leather part and you also have a metal winding. And when you're holding the bow, your teacher will often tell you like, oh, put your index finger on the metal part or on the leather. And it will depend on your bow, because in this case, on my bow, the leather part is pretty small. So when I place my fingers, it's like in the middle of the leather part, but normally it's like kind of on the leather part. That's where you place your index finger. Another very important part of the bow is the screw. The screw is very tiny, but it has a lot of functions. Every day when you start playing, you're screwing your bow. You are using the screw to make sure that there's enough pressure on the bow so that the hair is, well, how do you call this in English? Straightened? I forgot the word for a moment. But anyway, and on the end of the day, you are releasing the screw, so you're turning it towards you, and the hair will be relaxed of the bow. And this is also how you should store your bow. Some of my students have told me they are scared to death if they keep the bow for 1 minute screwed like this, so the tension is still on the bow. Definitely don't worry about it if you are just away for half an hour and then you are going to play again. You can just keep the tension on the bow. As a teacher, sometimes my entire day there's tension on the bow. That's normal if you're teaching the whole day. Well, there's tension on your bow the entire day and my bow didn't break yet. So don't worry too much about it, but of course if you don't play the violin, remove the tension to make sure that the wood is not going to turn in any wrong way and that the wood can relax. So these are all the parts of the bow. Did you learn anything new or anything surprising? Please also let me know in the comments. What part of the bow do you prefer playing at? I know that some of you like to play on the upper part instead of in the middle, and some of you in the middle. I'm wondering if there's any people that prefer to play at the frog. I wouldn't think so, but I would definitely be interested if there's anyone here in the comments that feels like playing at the frog is really comfortable. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel if this was helpful, and if you want to follow along with my weekly violin lessons. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification, and also check out Julia's Violin Academy, my school for adult beginners. We have daily classes and activities on Zoom. We have step-by-step learning system, how to learn the violin. It's really a great place to learn the violin, step by step, with really great lessons, and all sheet music is included. So definitely check it out, juliasviolinacademy.com, and I hope to see you next week in the next video. Bye bye!